Mama, what is that?
That's a honeycomb.
Honeycomb? What is inside it?
Honey. But there's much more to a honeycomb than just honey.
Who made it?
Honeybees.
How do they make it?
That's a wonderful story. They collect nectar from flowers and bring it back to their hive. Then, through an amazing process, that nectar slowly becomes honey.
Really? How?
Come, let's follow a little honeybee and find out.
Where does the bee go first?
To a flower. The bee doesn't find honey in flowers. It collects something called nectar.
Nectar.
Yes, flowers make nectar, a sweet liquid that attracts pollinators like bee. The worker bee flies from flower to flower collecting nectar. The worker bee uses its long tube-like tongue to sip nectar from flowers. This tube-like tongue is called proboscis. They carry the nectar in a special part of their body called the honey stomach or crop. They store this nectar until it is full and fly back to the hive to share it with other bees. Then another worker bee takes the nectar and continues the process. It also collects pollen, which is an important food for the colony. The colony works together.
But how does nectar become honey?
They sit inside the wax cells of the honeycomb, but the nectar is still quite watery. So the bees fan their wings. Water evaporates from the nectar. As more water is removed, the nectar becomes thicker and turns into honey. When the honey is ready, the bees seal the cell with bee wax.
Mama, why the holes look like hexagons?
That's one of the amazing things about bees. Worker bees produce bee wax from special gland on their bodies. They shape that wax into thousands of tiny cells, and the cells fit together in a beautiful hexagonal pattern.
Hexagons.
Hexagonal cells fit together without leaving empty spaces between them. They give the bees a strong structure while using wax efficiently. The cells can be used to store honey and pollen and to raise young bees.
Does every bee collect honey?
The colony has many different jobs. Some worker bees collect nectar and pollen. Some care for the young. Some build and repair the honeycomb. Some protect the entrance. Some clean the hive. And some help keep the hive properly ventilated.
What the queen bee does?
The queen bee's main role is to lay eggs which grows into the next generation of bees. The colony works through communication and cooperation. One bee could not do all of it alone, but thousands of bees, each doing their part, can build a remarkable home and store food for their colony.
So they work together.
Yes, that's one of the first lessons bees teaches us.
What can we learn from the bees?
Many things. Don't think a small effort is useless. A bee carries only a tiny amount of nectar, but thousands of tiny journeys can fill a honeycomb. Even a small step matters. Bees also teach us to cooperate. They also teach us that good results often take patience and many repeated efforts.
What if the bees disappear?
That would be a serious problem. Honeybees are important pollinators, although they are not the only ones. When bees visit flowers, they can carry pollen from one flower to another. That help many plants produce fruits and seeds.
So bees help plants.
Yes, and plants are connected to so many other living things. Plants provide food and shelter for insects and animals. So protecting bees and other pollinators help protect the larger web of life.
Bees only made honey.
Honey is just one part of their story. They help flowers reproduce, they feed their colony, they build their homes, they work together. and they remind us that even a tiny creature can have an important place in nature. Never underestimate a small creature or a small effort. Sometimes something wonderful is not made by one big effort. It's made by many small efforts repeated with care.